Hello, everyone. This is Peter Grandich. I always remind you, please don't consider this investment advice. You always need to speak to a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decision and to read our disclosures. Well, I could take a lot of words, but I think if we start with the word wow, we could talk about the news out of today out of Radisson Mining. And here to tell us about the wow, wow, wow is the CEO and president, Matt Manson. Matt, I was telling you before we started, I never been involved with a company that reported such a drill hole as you did. So let's start right there.
Yeah, 1.3 kilograms per ton gold. And it's a 2 meter section. Most of the gold's in the 1 meter section. So it was 1.3 kilograms over that 1 meter and in a 2 meter zone. What what this is, this doesn't come out of thin air. I mean, this is the O'Brien mine, one of Quebec's richest gold mines historically, and for good reason. And there was a particular mining area that we've called the jewelry box stope that was famous for these really high grade museum quality specimens. And they're in museums, these specimens. You can go to the museum here in Toronto, Royal Ontario Museum, and see them on display. So we were actually looking for this mining area. This mining area famously got lost above 250 meters, between 250 meters and the surface. I'm just going to share a slide here so that I can illustrate what we're talking about. Um, if you can see this, so that little pencil mining area. It is a pencil. It was a rod called the jewelry box stope. There's an example of the type of specimen that came from that zone. So we were looking for that, and you can see that the mining area stopped at the 250-meter level. It was never discovered at shallower depths. They tried to discover it. You see these exploration drifts that went over looking for it. They could never find it. This is back in the 50s. The guys originally mining this deposit. So we think we hit it, and it's a little bit off to the east. And hats off to the geological team because they were trying to do this right. And you're hitting a narrow rod like feature with a line, right? And what we think this is Peter, we think it's two veins that have intersected to store, and two planes intersecting gives you a line, and so it's a kind of a linear zone that's super rich. So when we're putting out 1.3 kilograms per ton gold, that's very high grade, highest grade in my career, I think I've ever seen in any project in any drill hole. But we knew this thing was super high grade. I mean, that's not necessarily uncharacteristic of what this thing is. You just have to go to the Royal Ontario Museum to see the samples, understand what this is. So it's a lovely story, and the guys are all, they've got the bit in their teeth now. To we're gonna drill again. Obviously, we're going to try and trace it to the surface. We're going to work out where it goes to the surface, if it goes to the surface, and we're going to strip at the surface. Can you imagine this thing sitting on the ground? I mean,
Wow.
that's kind of what we're talking about here. So, terrific. You can see the red interpretation of where we think it's going, and just like O'Brien, we got some other hits in that hole as well. 20 over one and 3 over 1. This is a narrow, high grade gold. That's what it's always been. But yeah, I mean, terrific headline result. The press release has a link to a video that shows one of our geos just turning the core in the lab, and there's a big nugget of gold at the end of the core. Uh, we actually, this was actually discovered by the drillers. The drillers in a night shift, called up and said, we're holding core here that's full of gold, right? I mean, it was terrific. So we rushed it through the labs, on Express, and got it out as a press
You
release.
said at the beginning of your talk, I didn't want to interrupt you. You said, we think we hit it. I was going to say, if you didn't hit it, this was a hell of a miss.
So, yeah, look, I mean, it's a bit of an interruption because the last couple of press releases that we've put out from this company has been talking about our deep drilling. And, we've had some really 27 grams over 6 meters, really terrific holes that are extending the deposit at depth. And most of this deposit is defined in its current resource down to about 600 meters. We're now hitting at about 1100 meters. We've got this drill hole that we've been talking about. That's the first hole underneath the old mine at depth. That's gone through the target area at about 1,500 meters. So we're telling a story of expansion of this deposit at depth. We expected the next news release to be more of that, and the market, our shareholders can expect us to be talking about that nixed, right? That's a program of deeper drilling. This thing, but we've had some shallow drilling going on and some deep drilling going on simultaneously. This is a crackerjack, right? That we've hit, right? So everyone's excited. Great timing, right? Coming right before Christmas, and I couldn't be happier.
So Matt, you say you're still drilling. Is it still possible there still may be some news left in 2024, or are we really going to go into 2025?
Yeah, I hope so. We're kind of scrambling to get some more sort of results, ready to put out. So hope to do that. But there's quite a lot of news that's going to be coming from us really over the next few weeks, through the end of the year into the new year as well. Both on the exploration side and also, of course, we've got this MOU with IM Gold, which is about studying the use of the Doyen mill, which is nearby our project for our ore in a development scenario, very efficient and sensible development scenario. So, we've been working on that for the last few months. There's things to say about that. There's things to say about the exploration. It's firing in all cylinders here, I think, Peter.
Well, I just want to say this as a shareholder. You are a blog sponsor. I think, let me see, July, August, September, October. You got a high bar to keep going in the 4 or 5 months that you've been the CEO of this company. I I can't wait to see how you try to top that bar next time because I mean, really, Matt, it's been a phenomenal. If it wasn't for the worst bear market in certainly in my career in 40 years, this would have to be just one of the top stories for 2024. It just really would have to be, certainly in North America.
Yeah, well, thanks, Peter. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, I've been the CEO for what, 5 months now, and 5 6 months, and it's lots of fun. It's a great project.
Well, let me leave by saying keep up the good work.
Thanks, Peter.